Hey everybody, it's Doc Bigley. Welcome to the Alcohorror Halloween special. This actually might be the first video I upload depending on the recording and editing of the other videos I've done. So if this is your first time seeing Alcohorror, welcome. I wholeheartedly and humbly welcome you. Basically, the point of this is I watch a horror movie and drink alcohol, therefore Alcohorror. May also watch just horrible films from time to time. But tonight, I figured, since it's Halloween, and the spookies, and everything else, I will, here in my chest where I keep my booze, as you see, there's booze. Anyway, and down here I drew a boob, but you can't see it because it's heavy and out of frame. Anyway, I found on, I follow somebody on Facebook, which is Freddy in Space. It's a website. Basically, it's a horror fan website. They talk about various different things, and they spoke about this movie, tonight's movie that I'm going to watch here and comment on as I do this. And the film is from Camp Motion Pictures. Film came from the year of 2013. However, the film is presented in such a way, and the filmmakers ingeniously wanted to invoke a feeling of nostalgia. So I believe it's, let me see, 1987 the film is set in, and it is portraying itself as a local news station's Halloween special. Tonight's film is the WNUF Halloween special. I normally put the image up, but I figured I had the DVD box. I got this for those who are interested. I believe it's alternative-cinema.com. I would put a correction if I have to. Basically, I spent money on this because it's the only way I can get this. It's the only people who are selling this, so it sounded really interesting. There's apparently fake commercials, but you know, it's supposed to be the entire broadcast as it was originally broadcast. The plot I know is that apparently one of the news reporters goes on location to a local haunted house with like a priest, a rabbi, and an Irishman or something, I don't know. But, and basically they are going to either debunk or disprove or whatever the idea that there's an actual haunted house there. Because apparently people died some years ago. And of course it is intercut with these fake commercials and everything. Again, trying to invoke the spirit of nostalgia, if you will. So there are several different things I want to mention. First of all, about the cover, I have to say, I like the whole image there, and the fact that they actually did make costumes like this, which was basically just a plastic schmuck with a picture of the character on it, and in a mask, which is what the character's supposed to be. That was a thing. It was the 80s. Don't ask. Back of it actually has a TV guide blurb, and allow me to read this to you. Which basically kind of echo what I've already said. It says, for decades, obscure film collectors and lovers of esoteric cinema have sought it. Finally, the search is over. Originally broadcast live October 31st, 1987, WNUF Halloween Special is a stunning expose of terrifying supernatural activity that unfolded at the infamous Weber House, the site of ghastly murders. Local television personality Frank Stewart leads a group of paranormal investigators, including a Catholic exorcist, Father Joseph, and a prolific husband and wife team, Lewis and Claire. Together, the experts explore the darkest corners of the supposedly haunted Weber house, trying to prove the existence of the demonic entities within. Did they find horrific truth, or simply put superstitious rumors to rest? Compiled from the highest quality source material available, this DVD features the full program, including the original commercials that ran during the broadcast. Something that they tried to do is actually, I believe it was actually originally released on VHS. And one of the things that the filmmakers tried to do is they went around to like VHS trading conventions and that kind of thing, kind of, you know, leaving it around. I've actually heard, according to Wikipedia, that they actually threw VHS copies of it out of car windows, just going down the highway, just to try to like create this sort of whisper campaign, if you will, to make people think it was legit, which I completely get behind. I love that entire idea. So the entire idea of this is really good. I already pushed play on this. Excuse me. And there is a grainy, old videotape. This is the highest quality. Several generations or whatever. Already on the screen. So I'm kind of digging at it already. Hopefully this will be good. There is, along with the... Drop it. Along with the DVD, they did send a camp motion pictures button. If this is good, this might go on my wall and stuff. Don't know yet. But the beer, let's get on to that, because this is not Alcohorror. We had the horror, let's try the alcohol. Seltzer. I am going to be sampling the fall variety pack from Samuel Adams. I normally don't like Samuel Adams normal beer. There are different flavors that they have seasonally. I rather enjoy. I think they did Cold Snap last year around winter. That was actually really, really good. So I am going. There is I have Harvest Pumpkin, Oktoberfest, and Hoppy Red, and of course their regular Boston Lager, which I don't really care for. But I have that all in my booze chest here. I'm going to crack open first one in my frosty mug here. I'm going to try pumpkin ale because it's not Halloween without having some pumpkin spice jammed in there, everything. Take with that what you will. Wanted to see what this looks like. Smells like beer. What a surprise. But I wanted to see what this looks like out of the bottle. It looks like an amber, probably just because of the flavors. Now we'll read a little blurb on the neck. I will be going over all of these throughout the course of this film. I will be rotating, and I will save my full reviews of each beer till the end, after I've reviewed the film, provided I remember. We'll read the neck of the bottle here. It says, the early New England colonists were nothing if not resourceful, lacking traditional malts. They added pumpkin to their brews, and the first pumpkin ales were born. This is an ale. It's dark. Our adaptation uses a blend of caramel and roasted malts, along with real pumpkin, to create a rich depth of flavor and unmistakable character. And it says cheers. So, put that over there out of the way. Without further ado, man, that's dark. Look at that. Whew. I don't like dark beers, but we'll see what this tastes like. Not really getting the pumpkin on that. Very subtle if it is. Anyway, I'm going to get on with this. Start watching the movie. So, without further ado, it's time to rock and roll. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the WNUF Halloween Special. First of all, the editing on this so far is superb. Second of all, the commercials in here are spot on. And honestly, I really wish, that's funny, I really wish this did get the Whisper Camp. Wow, that's creepy. I really wish that this did get widely known before it got released on DVD, because, you know, as an actual thing, because it's very believable. I've watched a lot of old VHS tapes. I've made a lot of old videos. It's very believable, and I love it. So far, I'm loving it. Dark stuff. Okay.
Tonight he sits on death row.
They just told a news story about a Vietnam vet who ended up inadvertently killing a young Asian kid who was dressed up like G.I. Joe, went trick-or-treating because he had shell shock. And holy crap! I mean, that sounds like something that would happen, but dang! I'm not sure if I should be impressed by that or embarrassed by it, but dang, it's freaking dark.
I have to mention something here. They are interviewing a Christian organization that doesn't agree with Halloween. And, you know,
Satan wants your soul.
you need to have a grasp on the actual beliefs of people before you can actually portray them. So I see this as a little bit heavy-handed, really heavy-handed.
If you believe Mrs. Harris,
because
her and the other members of
it's more of like an impression of what they think people believe versus actually what Christians actually believe about Halloween. I've heard mixed reviews on it, and I might get into that a little bit further towards the end of the review, but I just had to break in there and say that. So they just showed a commercial for a 900. Dang, that was pretty bad for a freaking commercial. Showed a decapitated neck. They showed a 900 number commercial. I remember those. 1-900 number for horror hotline. That was spot on, man. Spot on. Even though that a lot of the people, the bystanders that they have that are interviewing on the site, would never be, people would never act like that in a million years. It's so freaking hilarious. And I'm waiting for the ball to drop and this to actually start to get scary, because this is billed sort of as a horror film comedy. I'm waiting for the ball to drop. I'm waiting for it. Wanted to mention something. The Psychic Friends connection here we have had some kind of audio recording, and it sounded like they said leave. Although it doesn't sound like that. It just sounds like somebody exhaling, which could have been the guy who was asking the question. I have to highlight this simply because of the fact that real ghost hunters and psychic whatever the bull crap do this kind of, and the thing is, he played it twice and he stopped short. He stopped the tape real quick. They do this. The human brain is wired to look for certain things, and if you're propagating it, then you have more incentive to stop it short, don't play it all the way through, stuff like that. Similar thing like the Ghost Hunters, the TV series, they use the most grainy night vision footage to try to look for faces and ghosts and stuff like that. Again, the human brain is wired in such a way to look for familiar shapes. So with the grains match up a certain way where it kind of looks like a face. Oh, that's a ghost. Same thing here, except for they're perpetrating it. That's the word I was trying to find out. Propagating. I think that means like something completely different. Anyway, I'm sorry. I had 4 so far, and I'm kind of. So that I just want to mention that, and everything's being very legit. There's a few things that aren't, but I'll talk about it at the end. I'm digging this movie. He just said a tampon commercial. Oh, I suck at tennis. Is it your tampon? I love this movie. Well, movie's over. Very disappointed with the ending of that. I was with it 100% up until the ending. Last 20 minutes or so. I understand live broadcast, but even in the 80s, they wouldn't allow that much language on camera or over broadcast airwaves, and they would cut away immediately. Basically what happened, fill a little blanks here. The cat that the psychic couple brought in, paranormal investigators brought in, became mutilated. They ran out. Understandable. The priest, and I'll explain that in a second, was ordered to do the exorcism by the on-the-spot reporter guy there. Apparently he was an actor. He even said so on camera. That's when the language started. Then the door that they couldn't get open, that was some noise coming from, they went in there, and apparently the quote-unquote Christian lady who I mentioned earlier was against Halloween, was the one perpetrating the whole thing. And they ended up killing everybody, and the reporter was the last one to cut his tongue out. There were at least 3 or 4 F-bombs dropped. An S-bomb, if you will, was dropped. Completely, that, I mean, there were some bits earlier on that where level believability was okay, questionable, whatever, excusable. That, in my opinion, was uncalled for, and I think that detracts from the film. Now, I did make some notes. Let's talk about that. The editing on this, for the most part, spot on, perfect. The acting by a lot of the news people and stuff like that, wonderfully cheesy, period accurate. A lot of puns and stuff like that, understandable. There was actually a small story done by the local dentist, who his acting, it seemed like someone who was acting badly on purpose, and like you were seeing the other film or whatever, didn't seem a little bit genuine. But all the punnage that was used by the vocal reporter, perfect. All right. There was a lot of fast forwarding. One thing I'll give him credit for is repeated commercials. There was one commercial that repeated at least 3 times. The third time it got fast forwarded. The film is presented basically as somebody who is copying the tape to another tape. So in the beginning of it, you see blue screen with the word "play" in a corner. At the end of it, blue screen will stop. No credits. There was the bit that pulled me out of it earlier on, but before all the language and stuff like that, and the plot twist. There was a commercial for a Saturday morning science fiction show where the hero's ship was a stealth bomber and the bad guy's ship was quite clearly a Klingon bird of prey from Star Trek. That was enough to pull me out of it, but you know what? I was actually willing to forgive that. Let me see what else. The mythos that was written about the murders that happened there, very well done, very well written. I think that it was very well done, because what happened was what supposedly happened is that the teenage son he found a Ouija board in the attic and was consulting with it, and supposedly demons told him to kill his parents, decapitated him, hid him in the basement, whatever. All of that was very well done, very well written. There were certain TV commercials for sitcoms, whatever, I think should have been filmed differently and should have been actually in film. There were certain movie commercials done for films that I'm sure don't exist that were in film, looked legit. I have to give him credit for that. Ultimately, at the bottom, at the very end of it, like I said, with the language and the way it ended up, I don't like the way they did it. I was with it almost 100% until that ending. That kind of turned me off on the movie now. Although everything up to that point was 100% perfect, spot on. If I had a way to maybe censor that or something like that, I would highly suggest. I was actually, up until that point, willing to show it to friends and stuff like that. But I have friends that won't appreciate that kind of a thing. So, I'm kind of mixed on this now because everything. I mean, there was a freaking. I mean, the commercials, 100% spot on, awesome, wonderful. Like I said, even though it was a live broadcast, I don't see them staying on that when some of those things were said and some of those things were done at the ending of it. So that right as soon as that started to happen, it pulled me out of it. Kind of pulled me out of it. Because any television station, as soon as words like that started going, immediately they would have cut and went to commercial or something else, whatever. That kind of upsets me because, man, I love this movie up until the ending. So what I suggest is, at the ending of it, what I suggest this movie, a reluctant yes. Because I honestly feel that they did their homework and they did everything perfect except for the ending. The ending, it let me down. The movie let me down in the end. And I was actually going to suggest my mom watching this because it was 100% accurate to the period. But now, my mom doesn't like the kind of stuff. I can guarantee she won't want to watch it. If this would have stayed PG at most, I could have been behind it 100%. But I'm sure plenty of you out there would love this movie front to back, no problems. There are a couple extra features on here I'm probably going to watch later on. The making of, them aging everything, all the commercials by themselves, which would be great to watch again. Yeah, so, man, I'm at like 90% positive on this. That last 10%, it's kind of hard. It's a hard speed bump to get over. On the beer front, let me talk about that. The pumpkin ale, okay. The hoppy red, I don't like hoppy beers. I tried. There was one I had in a previous video. Again, it probably hasn't been uploaded before this. Called a Hop Gun. I don't like hop beers. Too foresty taste. I don't like it. The Oktoberfest was okay. The regular Boston Lager, too hoppy. Don't like it. Now that I have what hops taste like, I don't like it. I knew I didn't like it before. Now I know why. So that was the WNUF Halloween special. I actually started bending the metal out of this because I was going to put this on the wall. Now I'm not too sure because of that ending. Man, I'm torn on this because everything about this up until the ending was awesome. I am literally torn on this. I really don't know whether I like it. I mean, obviously I enjoyed 90% of this movie. It's just that ending, man. It's just that ending, and it was. I think I already mentioned it. I'm not sure, but it was yeah, I did mention it. The woman who was heading up the anti-Halloween, thing that was supposedly a Christian, was the one doing this. Again, if you're going to have, why not have it be somebody who was just some kind of, metal enthusiast or somebody who's just takes your stuff way too seriously, whatever. I mean, yeah, they did that, but could have done it differently. Yeah, I'm gonna say it again. I'm 90% behind this movie except for that ending. So if that doesn't bother you, if that doesn't pull you out of the movie, I would highly suggest seeking this out. If you grew up in the 80s, seek this movie out. For me personally, I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad I own it, but I'm not happy with the ending. This is the only movie I felt so conflicted on after watching it because I love everything in this movie except for the ending, and I really hate that. I hate that ending. So that was the WNUF Halloween special. I want to see Christmas special. And they did do a live call-in seance, which was fun. Because of course, like the first caller was like somebody was like, "Yeah, Iron Maiden rules, White Tiger sucks," or something like that. The commercials were awesome. The other news stories were well done. I am very, very torn up on this movie. I've never been as conflicted on a film before, but because here's the thing: if it wasn't done as a broadcast television thing, and if it wasn't done with the majority being at least PG level, I can believe some of the language that was used getting through on camera. I can understand that. I can believe that. When they started dropping PG-13 and then rated R words, out the window, man. Suspension of disbelief, out the window. For me, personally. You might be different. Again, if you are a nostalgic person, you grew up in the 80s, and you like horror movies and the language kind of thing, and that wouldn't pull you out of it, seek it out. Honestly, I will put a link in the description for the page on what was it, on Alternative Cinema's website. I'll put a link in the description down below. That ending. If it wasn't for the ending, I'd be 100% behind this. But man, it bums me out that the ending happened because I would be 100% behind it all the way. I would buy copies of this and actually send it to people and give it out if it wasn't for that ending. Man, well, that was Alcohorror Halloween special. Hope you enjoyed it. If you watched this movie and you enjoyed it, let me know. That ending was disappointing. I'm really sorry. I know I'm going on about that, but man, because it's like it's like just everything spot on, 100%, and then let down, and it's just like my hopes dashed to pieces at the end of it. But I did have fun. I did enjoy it for the most part until the end. So hey, at least that's something. With that said, I'll see you in the next one. I think the next movie I'm going to be covering will be a Notorious Video Nasty, I believe it was called, banned in certain countries. So wait for that one. Anyway, I will see you next time on Alcohorror. Thanks for watching. Bye. I wanted to mention something. As you can tell, my lighting is a little bit different. The reason why is because I went to bed, woke up, and I was still thinking about this movie. Realized I didn't really actually talk about some of the technical aspects of the film that I actually wanted to cover. As far as the production values that they had. Outside of, like I said, one or two sitcom commercials that I feel should have been put in film, recorded in film rather. Production values for this were 100% spot on to the way that they would have been for a local station in the 1980s, presumably a UHF station. Or possibly not, because I don't think UHF stations in the 80s had news. Could be wrong. But as far as everything with the news station, I think they used period accurate recording techniques. Apparently, I did watch something after the fact. Apparently, they passed it through. They made it a third generation video recording. Basically, for those who don't know, you take two VCRs, you take the original recording, you feed it, and you record it on the second one. Well, apparently what they did is they took that recording and made a recording of it, and that was the final product. It degraded it enough, and along with the original aspect ratio of older film, or older TV rather, along with that and the sort of outdated technology of the recording, sold it. So from a technical aspect, lighting, camera work, 100% spot on. Like I said, aside from a couple of the commercials. Now, acting. I wanted to get into acting. I think some of this was ad-libbed. Some of them had, I guess, maybe an idea. As I said, did I watch some of the bloopers on this? I want to say most of it was sort of kind of ad-libbed. Obviously, things that were scripted were things that were said in the studio. Things that moved the plot along, as far as obviously the commercials were all scripted. Those were done perfectly well. Very period accurate thing, very believable, and that's the thing that kind of made me mad about the thing. Everything was believable except for the beginning. We're not going to get into that again. Cam work on all the commercials. The editing on all the commercials was great. The main portion of it, editing, was great. So editing was perfect. Everything in this was just perfect. So I wanted to mention the fact that it looked and felt like a straight up VHS tape, straight from the 80s. Someone recorded this. As is the nature, it got passed around. Now, what I would have done is maybe pass it through a few more VHS copies, degraded slightly more, regardless. Just to add to the believability. But that would have been, in my opinion, if it had ended a different way. It would have lent to it a little bit more, lent to eeriness a little bit more. But writing, like I said, all the commercials were written really well. The cheesiness portrayed by the actors, spot on to news anchors for a local channel. A lot of puns being thrown around, a lot of, hey, it's Halloween, that kind of stuff. I mean, the friggin' two anchors were dressed up as Dracula and a witch. And even the newsman was dressed up like a cowboy. Just amazing. Costumes, everything looked period accurate. All the clothing everybody wore, the women had huge shoulder pads. It's a big thing in the 80s for some reason. All the fashions looked right. All the, the costumes for the men and women. They use a lot of stock footage, presumably stock footage, for a lot of the commercials. Done really, really well. The news pieces were edited. There's little news stories throughout. I think I mentioned about the dentist who had a buyback program for the children. Two children brought in a pound of candy, they got $1. His acting was a little hokey, but it was like trained fake, not actual. I'm a guy. I'm just some dude. Not acting like me, basically, but acting like someone trained to act like how I'm acting. If that makes any sense. Like I said, the editing and all those was spot on to how they would have done it, even how they do news stories like that now on your local channels. So editing, lighting was perfect, especially for something that's supposed to take place at night. They you know, camera lights and all the other stuff like that. The extras were great. The it kind of the on the spot reporter, I forgot his name already, but the one who was investigating the house, is him taking something and rolling with it. Again, very believable that something that they would do on you know, something that a professional news person would do. Pardon me. Still kind of getting over a cold. Anyway, so as far as all the technical aspects, as far as the cinematography and everything else like here, 100% period accurate, which is one of the things that kind of irks me, especially because of the ending. And it was something earlier on that was said. He used a certain word to describe or to call the cat that was there. A certain word that has other connotations. And for someone live on broadcast TV to say that in that way is kind of but that almost pulled me out of it. And then there was that sci-fi commercial in the end. But personally, so again, do I say that I recommend this? I think if you grew up in the 80s and you watch TV in the 80s, by all means check it out, because even if you don't like the ending of it, you'll get a kick out of the film. I know I did. Am I glad I watched it? Heck yeah. Because it was a trip down memory lane for me. I used to watch TV when I was a kid, and I remember seeing these things, even though it wasn't what I saw. It was the types of commercials, 100% spot on. So yeah, check it out again. Like I said, link in the description to the webpage where you can order this film yourself. Yeah, the ending sort of still irks me, but I think it's a well done enough production for those of us who had grew up in the 80s to get great enjoyment out of it. So with that said, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.